So recently, Darktide released a survey and only put it on their launcher, not promoting it anywhere else. And that means if you're not actively playing the game, you would never see it, which means they actually want selective feedback. And considering that's what they've done for 2 months already, it's no real surprise. Just a little weird to see when we think about how just last week the game director said he's so happy with how the game was received with the 40% reviews on Steam and the massive decline in player base. So they quickly rushed this out with a bunch of spelling errors, and honestly, it's just altogether not very good and doesn't have any quality assurance. Just like Darktide, actually. So we're just going to go over the survey for all the people that have installed the game already and have a good laugh about it. And if you actually do want to fill it out, I'll have it linked in the description for you, just in case. So we're going to start off with this horrible question. We'll go with more than 100 hours. What attracted me to play the game? Fan of Fatshark's previous games. That's a funny joke. Warhammer 40k universe. What is your overall satisfaction? Obviously very dissatisfied. The game's not finished. What is your main interest for playing Darktide? I really can't think of one at the moment. Sandbagging a 40k game, waiting for Space Marine 2, which is pretty much what everybody's doing. How likely would you continue to play Darktide? I mean, if there was another Warhammer 40k game similar out to it, I'm pretty sure everybody's answer would be very unlikely. And I'm pretty sure everybody's just clicking very unlikely. Obviously, they're just not going to do anything unless you just don't want to play anymore, which is very clearly the case because the game's dying. What are the reasons for your unwillingness? Let's see. That's a meme. Too many crashes, can't be matched with suitable teammates. Yeah, that's very true because we don't have crossplay yet. So, they just put whatever. Number of career branches, that's cringe. Network connection. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we can click that too. I don't have any friends to play with me. I mean, if you just listen to the CMs, just make some, right? The weeklies contracts is boring. I mean, this whole thing is correct, but the main reason is that the game is not finished. Like, that's the main reason why I don't like, that's the main reason, like, most people don't want to play anymore. What do you think of the character? What do you think of the following modules? Character creation, boring. Beginner's Guide Training Ground, neutral. Beginner Guide Training Ground wasn't the worst. Combat experience is a flat 1 because I play on tier 5. If you play on tier 1 to 3, it's probably not the worst, but tier 5 Endless Hordes is just laggy as piss, and tier 5 is bugged a lot of the time. So you're always playing Endless Hordes almost. So 1, just laggy. The game needs to not be laggy, and the servers need to not suck with 4 people active. Progression system, literal 1, just straight ass. Nobody cares about pure RNG systems, and crafting's not finished. Level design, boring. Replayability's at an all-time low. Initially, they wanted the maps to be able to split off and you could pick your path, but obviously that got canceled too. Tagging system. Everybody just binds it to the left click. Appearance characters is not attractive enough. Yeah, they made everybody like ugly as piss. Like, come on. Yeah, that's perfect. Look at that. I don't like the progression or upgrade system. Wait, that's not in the character creation system. It's just like there. Holy, that's not even the right category. Combat experience, boss battles are difficult, randomly match. Other. Lack of feedback when hitting enemies. Does that count as the game's lagging? The game is laggy as piss. The servers suck. T5 endless is not fun. There. We'll just go with that. I mean, yeah, Endless Dogs does repetitive and lack variety. So does something like Endless Shooty Boys. This doesn't matter. You can literally run 4 of anything and beat T5. I've already done that. 4 Ogrins is the most fun, where everybody just runs around. Boss battles are difficult. They keep buffing the end bosses on assassination missions, actually, for no particular reason. But, like, it's still not too difficult. I think it's annoying. I actually think the one assassination boss at the train station where he spawns, like, 50 shotgun dudes, that one's pretty bad. I think that probably needs to just get removed completely. Why are you dissatisfied with the level design? Cannot get rare weapons. Like, nobody said this. You can't get rare weapons because the crafting's not in the game. Many covers cannot block bullets. Wow, what a surprise. I literally looked at their meshing in game. It's terrible. There are too few co-op missions. Yeah, literally. Grimoire spawn random locations. That's not true. They have specific spots. The in-game co-op missions are too simple and lack challenge. And other. Boring, repetitive. There you go. I can't type because I'm dyslexic, so I don't care. I know I spelled it wrong. We'll go. That's good enough. What are your most frequent play? Obviously, veteran. I don't remember. What do you mean you don't remember? Damnation. I haven't played the other 4 difficulties quite literally since December 3rd. I haven't played anything but Damnation. That's why I hate myself so much. Why are you dissatisfied with the progression system? Some of them don't even work. Yeah. I don't know how to match. The crafting system is incomplete. Oh, there we go. We have it. I don't like the progression or upgrade system. Yeah. Building strategy is shallow. It sure is. Boring, not finished. Simple. Tagging system. I play veteran all the time, right? So I just push F and like you can see the whole map. So it's just whatever. I guess other people need this. Complicated. Jesus. You know what? I'll go with this one simply because sometimes you do mark something and then it falls through the world and then it sits there on your screen for like multiple minutes. Yeah, everybody likes Warhammer 40k. Everybody likes Warhammer Fantasy. And then everybody heard about Warhammer 40k because Warhammer 40k is just massive. Henry Cavill, literally. Promoted through him. Stop paying people who won't ever, like, they pay Pokemon YouTubers to, like, promote this game when they could have paid Henry Cavill all that money and actually promoted it correctly, but, like, they have no idea what they're doing, so it doesn't matter. Well, you know about Vermintide 1 and 2, that they're still not finished, so, I mean, sure, I've heard of them. In the last 6 months, what are the following games you played the most often on PC? Yeah, sure. So I play all these. I play a little bit of everything. I do not play Among Us, chess. I do play chess. They caught me. Wait. Casual. I like how chess is under casual games. It's one of the most like mentally taxing games in the world. Which of the following types of shooter games have you played on 6 months? Co-op PvE shooter, Left 4 Dead, GTFO. Yeah, Left 4 Dead. Huge Battlefield. Battlefield sucks dick. But and then PUBG. Apex, Fortnite. Yeah, okay. Which of the following video games have you enjoyed? Oh my god, bro. Like, what is this? This is crazy. PUBG, Warzone. 5 options. Whoa. We have to click Red Dead Redempt 2. Let's get rid of Back 4 Blood. Red Dead Redempt 2. Nice. Which NA. So this survey is very specific and they obviously see the feedback and just never pass it on to the higher ups or filter it correctly, and it misses a lot of the key core and real issues with Darktide altogether that I went over on December 12th already with visual examples and proof of everything that's broken. But we wonder how we actually got here, and that's because Fatshark's dev cycle has been proven to be a flat circle, much like time. As predicted in this forum thread 4 years ago, which when you read it, it makes you think you're reading about Darktide, and you might as well be. I don't understand why Fatshark has such a like loyal following when they've completely butchered, quite literally, every single game they have ever put out has never had a good launch and always is only okay after about a year or 2 of development or gets completely abandoned, which is kind of what it looks like they're doing to Darktide. If you read that forum thread, it basically just says they abandoned the game to do the console port. The console port fails, then they go back and update the normal version of the game that everybody, 2,000 active players is not in a live game. It is what it is. It's also okay to like shitty games, and Darktide just so happens to be a shitty game that I like myself. And I min-maxed everything in the first 2 weeks of the game, and now that I have 300 hours played, I understand pretty much everything wrong about the game, with the very few positives that get easily overshadowed by, all the negatives. So starting with the biggest is the gameplay loop, obviously. Actually playing the game just feels bad after you have too much time on it, because not only can you not pick what you're doing, it's randomly generated with negative affixes that suck. And when you get into tier 5 and you start playing Endless Hordes, it's insanely laggy because the servers just can't hold up, and the input lag is actually what gets you killed, not the game, because it's not actually that difficult when you're metagaming in a pre-made. The game actually just becomes unplayable, and it's just not fun to lag on a 4-player co-op game. But then you have to think about something else that goes with that, and it's very odd that we got Endless Dogs for 4 weeks straight while they removed Blackout and Smog missions, with Flash missions never actually appearing in the game at all, for the most buggy, hated, horrible, laggy coded monster in the game, the Poxhounds. And we got Endless Doggos the same week that Poxhounds got their update, where they wouldn't fly into space anymore, which they obviously do if you've been on Reddit, the forums, literally at all, people just spam post clips of it. So if you didn't catch on yet, they used us to beta test on the early access game to try and fix their garbage, which was fine on CBT. Like, the dogs worked pretty good on CBT. They updated them to be more aggressive, fast, and just a blob that just teleports around the map. And now obviously they're broken, so they're trying to get it fixed. And the easiest way to do that is to use the whole player base to beta test it. But on top of all that, the lobbies are bugged most of the time. And the only thing they did change since December 12th that I highlighted was removing the ability to actually see if the game was broken by holding tab when you load into the game. Now, they did remove the ability to see that, and if you're a noob, when you enter a high intensity game and you're queuing for a normal game, you can't tell the difference. So they can't even get the random missions that you're forced to queue for to function correctly, making those tier like 3 to 5 games a lot harder for no reason, discouraging people from playing and getting better because it's toxic. With tier 4 being the most egregious of all of them. It's bugged almost all of the time. And I already don't want to queue for random garbage, but I have to deal with affixes I don't want to either. It always ends up being insanely laggy, and you end up with a crazy high kill count at the end. And when you're in a normal damnation game, actually just across the board, when you're in a normal game, you get a break to breathe pretty regularly and just like relax in between like crazy amounts of packs. And I have a lot of VODs showing that linked in the description. But when you get into those bugged lobbies, you obviously have to kill thousands of mobs, up to like 4,000 to 5,000 on tier 5. And you get 3 to 5 monstrosities. The lag is just insane. Like, all of it adds up, and it's just altogether just not a good experience overall. And the summary is that the game is just broken and obviously not fun to keep playing over and over again when you don't get what you're actually queuing for. But when we take all that into the Morningstar, there was a Datamine shop rework for many weeks ago that you'd be able to re-roll the shop 4 times, which isn't in yet, but that's 64 items instead of 16. So I guess that's something we can look forward to in the future, but who knows whenever that'll get added. Because when we look at Hadron, the most worthless tech priest in the entire galaxy that can't craft weapons or have all of its options enabled yet, it leaves the game in a place where just getting items feels bad. Like, you get a legendary, it sucks. It feels bad to actually even receive the item. It makes me wonder what the removed original crafting was in the first place, because literally something is better than nothing. Imagine just releasing normal crafting and then just adding an update to it later, like any sane people would. But on top of that, Hadron also needs modifier rerolls, which haven't been talked about yet. The perk and blessings just need a selection. I don't want to spam reroll for 20 minutes. But on top of that, we just don't generate enough plasteel to even want to do this. Because even if you min-max roll in this video to try and get better items more frequently, you just end up with so much less plasteel than diamantine that it's just, honestly, I think plasteel's drop rate probably needs to be tripled, or the cost of everything just needs to be reduced altogether because it's just way too high. And obviously, resources need to be shared across characters, because why wouldn't they be? They were on CBT, they're not on live, so I don't understand what the reasoning behind that is. But there's also this Reddit thread where we see all the things that were left out, not included, altogether removed, and a whole bunch of redacted and edited forum posts and posts on Steam that are years old, and they're just trying to do this so that they look better by editing it to be like, oh, we never said that, but the fact is people have archived it and recorded it. And I've already archived and recorded this whole thread just in case they try to censor it and remove it. You'd think there would be more communication, and I would say they have bad communication, but it's altogether just no communication. They've obviously been planning a massive update that we're supposed to receive, and the last massive update was one map with 2 weapons, and then everything else in the patch notes was almost redacted completely, and then a broken game mode that nobody wanted. And I know a lot of people are against self-improvement, but just add a personal opt-in for team scoreboard at the end, but always have a personal scoreboard with the breakdown so that you can self-improve at least. It's very important to better yourself at anything you're doing, whether it's a hobby or not. But let me know what else is broken and needs to be fixed, or something that's not well known that breaks the game, and I'll keep a pinned comment with all the best stuff, and we can check back in a few months and see if anything actually gets fixed. So with all that and the constant, like, again, big update announcements or next week soon TM by the community managers, you should have probably realized by now that it's just all talk to get a couple of people that are too dumb to realize what's happening excited, and confirms the original thought that a lot of us had, that they're actually just drip feeding content that is supposed to be actual features of the game that really just should have been in at launch. There really is an excuse for them not being there. And instead of actually just having those features in at launch, they add them as a way to drag and string players along to keep them active and interested in the game. And when you look at like the 180-man dev team, it actually seems like finishing these small things shouldn't really be an issue. World of Warcraft quite literally did this for years and killed their player base for it. Like 100%. Most people hate Blizzard for doing this. And now it's very obvious that Fatshark is doing the exact same thing. And there honestly just needs to be a sense of urgency in the workplace to get things done in a timely manner. And if any of you have worked at like a high-end restaurant or a place that just values the consumers and the employees at the same time, you will understand what I mean. And again, I'm just frustrated, as I do love the game, as I obviously have a lot of hours on it. Just seeing it mismanaged by bad leadership to get to this state really sucks. And I will be streaming it on Twitch the next time they do a big update, and we can run it down and That'll be linked in the description. And while the game's in a massive content drought, I guess at least we can go play like Hogwarts Legacy for a week or two. It kind of seems like the next Skyrim or Red Dead type game, so I'm definitely going to give it a go and make some videos for it while Fatshark figures out Darktide. So I hope you're having a good new year, and I'll see you again soon.